Here in Western Washington, a new temporary care center in Tacoma is open today to help reduce the spread of coronavirus in Pierce County. King 5's Kira Elfallen has details on who is able to stay there.
The vacant motel here in Central Pierce County will be for those who cannot self-isolate or quarantine in their own homes for fear of spreading the virus on to someone else, maybe even someone they live with. But for the people who are staying here, they have to meet a certain list of requirements in order to do so. So they have to have known or suspected exposure to the coronavirus. They have to be able to perform daily activities without assistance, and they have to be deemed stable to be here. Anyone staying also needs a referral form from a doctor, the health department, or first responders. But public health staff also want to stress the fact that this is not a medical facility.
These people probably don't need hospital care. We just need a place for them to recover and get better. We have an obligation to provide appropriate facilities so that those who are ill do not spread the disease to others in our community.
The Pierce County Sheriff's Department will be providing 24-hour security to keep guests and staff and nearby neighbors safe. The facility is fenced and security guards will be at the only entrance in and out of the place. If anyone wants to leave before their quarantine is over, security plan to try and convince them to stay, but they cannot hold anyone against their will. Guests will not be driving themselves here. They will be arriving on Pierce Transit buses. Once they get here, they will be checked in, their vitals will be checked, and then they will be taken straight to their rooms. From Tacoma, I'm Kira Elfallen, King 5 News.
UW Medicine is in the national spotlight right now over its response to the coronavirus, for good reason. The hospital now has an entire floor dedicated to the virus and new ways to protect their medical team. King 5's Callie Greenberg is at Harborview with details.
The UW medical system has been working with patients with coronavirus since February. Still, a nurse that NBC spoke with said that every day the staff is being educated on new ways that they can protect themselves as well as protect patients inside the hospital walls. Now, Dr. Cohen is an infectious disease doctor with UW Medicine. He says the hospital recognized early how easily the virus could spread, and he's highlighted some of the changes that have been made. The hospital now has converted several floors to negative pressure. That's where air flows out of a patient's room and out of the hospital, minimizing recirculation. The 3 hospital campuses are also now divided into hot and cold zones, separating other parts of the hospital from parts where people must take precautions to avoid infection. In the hospital, they have even repurposed an operating room that can now disinfect 195 masks at a time using a robot and UV light. Dr. Cohen says these changes have helped keep morale up among the very hardworking staff.
I think it makes it easier for them to do their job when they know that they're not having to change their mask every time or that they're putting themselves at risk for contamination.
Now, a nurse that NBC spoke with said at most times she feels safer inside the hospital than she does just out and about in the community. But the hospital says they're not taking their foot off the gas yet. They are still on standby. They are hopeful that Washington has overcome its peak, but they are still on the lookout for possible outbreaks, maybe at another nursing facility, maybe at a homeless shelter where they see another uptick in patients. There is so much more to this story, so much more to highlight the great work that they're doing inside of this hospital. The full story and full exclusive look will be tonight on NBC Nightly News on King 5 at 6 p.m. For now in Seattle, Callie Greenberg, King 5 News.
Researchers at the University of Washington think your smartphone could be a powerful weapon against coronavirus. They've developed an app that they hope will predict an outbreak before it happens. Researchers were already using it to track the flu, but they've adjusted it to also track COVID-19. It works by gathering real-time information.
There's also the opportunity to ask people in the moment, like, how are you feeling? Or where have you been? Or do you have any of these symptoms?
UW School of Medicine is hoping to get 25,000 people around the country to use the app and take part in the study. 12:05, the Seattle School Board is working on fine-tuning their remote learning program. So we've learned that 12,000 remote learning packets have been handed out to students just this week. Getting kids online is another challenge. Right now, high school seniors are the top priority as the district starts rolling out laptops.
There's just going to have to be some patience as we roll out, but people have to know that there is a plan, that we are going to have one-to-one devices at those levels, and then hopefully Amazon can fill some of the gaps that we may have at the elementary level. And so once we get those all distributed, as I said, we will be building a very robust program, and I know our teachers and staff are up for that challenge.
Superintendent Juneau says she is hoping to create that summer learning plan to make sure students don't fall behind as well. But next week is spring break, and she hopes kids and parents will take that time to recharge as best possible and then come back ready to learn for the final few weeks of the school year. Starting tomorrow and going all through the weekend, all public works projects will be suspended in Seattle. Mayor Jenny Durkin says this will give contractors and staff time to better implement social distancing requirements and update health and safety plans. That means work on the West Seattle Bridge will halt for 5 days. The High Bridge remains closed because of cracks and structural integrity concerns. Police are monitoring the Low Bridge and handing out tickets to violators because it's only open for first responders and port traffic. It could be months before the High Bridge opens again. All right, let's take you with a live look now from Sky King as police are holding a salute to first responders. This is up in Blaine near the Canadian border. Officers have been basically in a circle honoring women and men on the front lines of the medical response. Paramedics, nurses, doctors, you name it. A live look from Sky King right near the U.S.-Canada border in Washington State in Blaine. All right, so back to the West Seattle Bridge. That closure creates kind of a double whammy for businesses in West Seattle. King 5's Vanessa Mashanya in the junction with their plea for help.
West Seattle is on a peninsula, but these days it's more like an island.
The governor issued the stay-at-home order, and 90 minutes later, the bridge closed.
The closure of the West Seattle Bridge comes at a time where not only its residents are feeling isolated, but businesses are too.
With everything else that's going on, it's just another thing that's happening.
Frank Gross owns Thunder Road Guitars, which has been forced to close. His online sales are helping his shop stay afloat, but he and other business owners need more help to keep from sinking.
You see a lot of information out there offering or promoting help for small businesses, and I don't personally know anybody that's actually received anything as of yet.
With the bridge closed and outside help hard to find, the island of West Seattle is building its own life raft.
What are we going to do? We have to just look at each other and dig in and depend on each other just more and more.
Laura Radford is the executive director of the West Seattle Junction Association. As soon as the outbreak begun, it started promoting local takeout and online shopping offerings, but it was clear more needed to be done.
The employees of the businesses, thank goodness, they're going to get unemployment, but there was very little funding for the actual business owners themselves.
The Relief Fund was born. Community members can choose to adopt a business, and those dollars given will go straight to the business owners. It's collected more than $4,000 so far.
We just delivered the first checks yesterday, and we had people in tears.
I think we're just trying to figure out how to, maybe do it without the help of the government.
It is uncertain when the order will be lifted or the bridge reopened, but with continued support from one another, West Seattle is out to prove that no neighborhood is an island.
It's the generosity of our community members supporting the small businesses that help us keep going and give us the belief and the conviction that one day we'll come back online.
You can now get a bit of Pike Place Market delivered right to your door. Savor Seattle is putting together boxes full of items from Pike Place Market vendors, whether it's fresh produce, the cheese, all the coffee, the flowers. The boxes cost $130 each, $134 to be specific, and you can order them at SavorSeattleTours.com. That's SavorSeattleTours.com, and $5 from each box that is sold goes to the Pike Place Market Safety Net Fund.